It's first half results time and water stocks are in the red, yet there's solid hope for brighter time. Let's explore July's top 10 water news in 10 minutes. Veolia, Xylem and SUEZ published their mid-year results, and according to them, it looks good.
Nothing to see here, folks.
You know how press releases always offer a balanced view full of sweet nuances, right?
Oh, that's ironic, right?
Well, here we go. The second quarter marked a transformational time for Xylem, which reported a total revenue of $1.7 billion, representing a substantial 26% increase with organic growth of 15%. According to the company, the achievement surpassed their expectations thanks to a strong commercial strategy and operational execution, and of course, the acquisition of Evoqua bolstered these results. However, despite the 10% increase in orders, the organically adjusted figures were down 2%, so Xylem now expects to end 2023 with a solid $7.2 billion in revenue, 30% up from last year.
What about the others?
Veolia is, of course, also very happy as they report an 8.2% increase in profit and revenues rising to nearly 23 billion euros, 14% up compared to last year. Water revenues specifically rose by 8.4% to 8.8 billion euros, showing global growth across all segments. With 2.6 billion euros in new projects, including significant desalination and lithium recovery, Veolia's management expects a profit growth flirting with the 7% bar, reflecting confidence in the strategy and merger synergies. And finally, SUEZ's first half year saw revenues rise impressively by 42% to 4.3 billion euros, but water segment challenges led to an EBITDA fall of 4% to 308 million euros. Despite revenue growth in water, increased amortization from newly acquired assets dampened results, otherwise pretty solid. All great, right?
You want to know what money sounds like?
Now, despite the positive tones in these public results, the market's reaction was not as enthusiastic. Veolia and Xylem stocks saw decreases post-publication, reflecting expectations of even better results, perhaps fueled by their respective mergers' expectations. As they're not public anymore, the outlook for SUEZ is a bit harder to read, but further insight will come with our third news for today. For now, as we look to the water industry's future, it's crucial to dive deeper into Veolia's M&A plans, leading us to our next segment: to sell or not to sell? That's the question. What will Veolia make of SAD? Well, let's start with the facts. As part of its new strategy, Veolia wanted to toss its French water pipe installation unit, SAD, into the market's bidding war.
I just sit back and wait for the highest bidder.
Valued at a cool 300 million euros, it would help reduce the group's debt in a post-SUEZ acquisition time.
I like money.
What's SAD's appeal? A revenue of 1.1 billion euro last year, and it's dabbling in everything from water networks to car charging points. That's tempting in itself, but wait, there's more. Indeed, as water scarcity keeps rising in Europe, there are repeated calls to finally fix the leaky networks, which makes an asset like SAD even more appealing. That's why civil works companies across Europe expressed their interest in SAD, and as of June, it seemed like a done deal. But mid-July came along and the winds shifted. SAD's debt combined with inflation's pesky bite incentivized potential acquirers to dismantle the group and sell it piece by piece. With the risk of SAD employees losing their jobs, Veolia's CEO Estelle Brachlianoff had to ponder. After all, selling a subsidiary is like breaking up with a long-term partner. You don't want to see them fall apart. That's where we are today. A sale on the brink, but not quite ready to seal the deal. Veolia's caught between the longing for cash and the intricate maze of consequences. Will they sell? Won't they sell? Only time will tell, and as they say in the classics, to be continued. Next in the news, SUEZ unveiled its new strategy for its French operations. In a nutshell, they will be cutting costs, as global infrastructure partners looked into the books and could have been happier with the profitability they found there.
How much money we got left?
So by 2027, SUEZ plans on eliminating some commercial entities in France, which in terms of staff translates on a smooth reduction with a plan to eliminate 150 jobs over the next 4 years. I've been told the plan should not apply to customer-facing parts of the group, so a good chunk of the cuts might be expected to happen in the head office in La Défense. All in all, SUEZ France will also be faced with a reinforced competition as SEFO, Aqualia's French subsidiary, has won a new 6-year wastewater treatment contract in Dreux. This brings Aqualia closer to the 1 million customer mark and solidifies its position as the 4th operator in France after Veolia, SUEZ and SOR. One more news coming from France, and it's a concerning one. The open water swimming World Cup that was supposed to be held the first weekend of August in Paris just got cancelled because of the bad Seine River water quality. With ongoing rains these past few days, despite the colossal new storm basins that got commissioned in Paris, there's still spillage of raw sewer water to the river, which releases Escherichia coli levels beyond the accepted limits for the swimmer's health.
Is it safe? Yeah.
This could be just one reminder that Jacques Chirac's promise to swim in the Seine River 35 years ago is still not achievable, but it doubles down as a risk for the Olympic Games next summer, where Olympic swimmers for both the open water swimming and the triathlon are expected to swim in the Seine. Will they? Well, we'll see in 2024. Let's cross the channel for now with great news coming from the UK. Indeed, Manchester is about to transform sewage biogas into a sustainable source of hydrogen and graphene. Thanks to a first-of-its-kind £3 million government-backed partnership between Levidian and United Utilities, the Loop 100 system will start operating at Manchester's Bioresources Centre, turning wastewater's biogas into clean energy and construction materials. Liverpool John Moores University will gauge hydrogen's potential usage, while Levidian and United Utilities focus on cutting the carbon footprint of concrete. If you're a regular follower of this channel, you know that this is a Turquoise Hydrogen production. And if you want a reminder of the coolness of this color, I've linked to my full video in the description. And by the way, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel but appreciate this content, then consider liking and subscribing. That helps a lot to spread the word, so thanks a lot for your help. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Thanks Aquatech for the swag, and no, that's not sponsored. We stay in the UK for our next news, but it's a bit more bittersweet. Indeed, we've covered how Thames Water is in troubled waters with inflation on the rise and debt piling up. Well, its shareholder reacted. Indeed, they agreed to provide an additional £750 million of equity funding in the company's current strategy cycle, which ends in 2025. Yet, they also acknowledged that this wouldn't be enough, as they now anticipate they should sink another £2.5 billion over the next 5-year period in a concerted effort to enhance operational performance and financial resilience. Following the drawdown of £500 million in March 2023, this further funding aims to back Thames Water's current business plan, including reducing leakage, improving river health, and accelerating the company's overall turnaround. On the plus side, and according to the interim co-CEOs of Thames Water, this new investment is a major milestone and represents the largest equity support package in the UK water sector, demonstrating the shareholders' commitment to delivering Thames Water's turnaround and ensuring benefits for customers and the environment.
What's not to love about it?
On the other hand, and according to my knowledge, no other UK water company is as much in need of a support package, so I'm not quite sure about how relevant that argument is. But let's cross the Atlantic for news number 7. 2 new studies alarm about the water quality in the US in general because of PFAS, and in New York in particular because of lead. What a bunch of good news today, right? A new study by the US Geological Survey has found that at least 45% of the nation's tap water is estimated to contain at least one PFAS. This comprehensive research, which tested 32 types of the more than 12,000 known PFAS, represents the first large-scale comparison of PFAS in both private wells and government-regulated public water supplies, highlighting the chemical's prevalence across the country, including near urban areas and reported PFAS sources. The study's findings are expected to help guide testing and treatment options and inform policy decisions regarding water quality. In the same time, a report very explicitly called "No Excuses New York City, Replace Lead Drinking Water Pipes Now"
Is that specific enough for you?
No.
unveils a concerning picture of lead contamination in New York City's drinking water. According to the findings, an estimated 21% of the city's residents may be receiving water through lead or possible lead service lines, with up to 41% of water service lines falling into this category. This means that nearly 2 million inhabitants, or about 1 million households, are potentially at risk. The issue is not evenly spread across town, with Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx exhibiting higher percentages of lead or possible lead service lines, while Staten Island and the Queens are slightly below the citywide average of 41%. I'm pretty surprised from Manhattan though, as I would have expected them to still drink water from wooden pipes. Sorry, I'm trying to bring some fun in today's news. Anyways, back to Europe for the next one with a revealing map shared by Global Water Intelligence this week. What does it show? Well, sadly, that water reuse is still not widely accepted in Europe. On the flip side, last month, the European Union implemented its first union-wide common quality standards for water reuse, aiming to bolster confidence and increase the use of reclaimed water. The standards, classified into 4 categories from class A to D, apply to different agricultural uses and set measures for E. coli, BOD5, TSS and turbidity levels. But while countries like Spain, Italy, Greece and France have happily embraced the new framework, some others have insisted on adding an opt-out clause in the regulation as they deemed water reuse unnecessary.
Really?
And that's how the eastern half of Europe appears in red on that map. Well, I would advise them to give a listen to my TED talk on the matter. Shameless plug. Yet thankfully other regions are much more clever when it comes to water reuse, as shown with Maynilad recent reveal of their plans for the Philippines. Indeed, Metro Manila's West Zone concessionaire has some big plans, as they will be investing $103 million to build 5 new water plants by 2027 in cities like Pasay, Valenzuela and Muntinlupa. By the way, they call it new water. I hope Singapore hasn't trademarked that name. Once treated, this reused water will be pumped straight back into the water supply network, mixing with the regular treated water for a daily capacity of nearly 100,000 cubic meters. Additional good news, as Patrick Lester from the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System Regulatory Office had hinted to when we met at the Global Water Summit in Berlin, the already existing reuse facility in Paranaque got a thumbs up from the Department of Health to keep on going permanently starting June 2023, and Maynilad is even planning to expand it. Now, what's so different between the reluctant Eastern European countries from our previous news and the forward-looking Philippines? Well, as I speak, Manila's main water source, the Engat Dam, is so empty it fell below operational capacity. So water reuse is not about a drop in the bucket, it's an ambitious plan to make sure the taps keep flowing even when nature is not cooperating. Let's close our news for today with some rapid fire. Sydney Water also serves that sharp water reuse wave, as it has initiated construction on the $1.2 billion Upper South Creek Advanced Water Recycling Centre.
That was hard work.
In Western Sydney, a state-of-the-art facility that will supply wastewater services to 400,000 new dwellings, treat around 70,000 cubic meters of wastewater daily, provide over 1,000 construction jobs and contribute to the sustainable development of the region with features such as 4 megawatts of solar energy and the potential for biogas production, all set to become operational by 2026. If I had a bit more time, I'd expand by reflecting on how that draws on a century-old idea in Sydney, but we're already running late. Sorry. July has also been a fertile month for great announcements in company partnerships. SUEZ with Schneider, Tomorrow Water with John Cockerill, a new face for the Xylem and Idrica one, and many more. Kind of a soft consolidation period. Not sure if I shall try to coin that term. Finally, and I know I'm cheating and I already went across the 10-minute mark, but I can't close that news recap without mentioning the very successful Series B Transcend Infra just closed with a solid $20 million raised. Well done, Ari, Adam and the team. That's the end for this month. If you want to check out my previous editions of the water industry news, it's right here. And if you certainly don't want to miss my curated tour of the water world in the future, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you next time.